yet met me. I'm the IB coordinator here at Brooklyn Latin. I'm also one of the IB visual arts teachers. I've been here since 2006. 2 weeks after the funny thing is 2 weeks after the school opened, I was actually interviewed to work here. So I'm really excited to be here and to be working with you and your families. The first thing I wanted to start off with today is just kind of some quotes, not just from me, but from our alumni. And so we have a few statements here that I think are really powerful, coming from the students themselves rather than the adults. We'll get to the adults in just a moment. So if you take just a moment and read them over, I'll give you a minute to settle. So the fun thing about these is that many of these quotes, the 3 out of the 4, came from a survey that we did of our alumni back in 2016. And we asked them some really poignant things about how they looked back upon their time here at Brooklyn Latin and in the IB program. And then yesterday, we've actually been having alumni who are fresh out of Brooklyn Latin and off in their first semester of college, and they've been coming back over Thanksgiving and I actually showed them the quotes, and they were able to add one to it. So that first one is from the class of 2018. So, as I mentioned, I'm Kathleen Busoni. You can reach me here at the school or through email. My email will be on the last slide of this as well, along with some other folks that you can turn to here at Brooklyn Latin for support with the IB program. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, hopefully not too quick, but hopefully not too slow, a few different key things. So going over the benefits of the IB program, the components here at Brooklyn Latin, what it means for IB for all at TBLS, and then getting into the nitty-gritty of IB certificates versus the IB Diploma, and again, where you can turn to for more information. The first thing I'd like to start us off with is a video. You may or may not have come across this. This smartboard is very tall. Just give it a second for it to load. It did load before.
I took astronomy from Carlson.
Sorry, this is going to be an advertisement for a moment. Looks like it's another 21 seconds for the Bill Nye Science guy.
For students across the country, the school year is underway. For some, that means learning from a curriculum known as the International Baccalaureate, an academic program growing in popularity that's used in close to 5,000 schools around the world. Schools say the rigorous course load is why they offer the program, which is now in its 50th year. NewsHour Weekend sat down with the first female head of the foundation that develops the curriculum to discuss how it's preparing students to compete in a globally connected world. Christopher Booker has more.
Dr. Siva Kumari is on the road a lot, often meeting with educators from around the world. She's head of the International Baccalaureate Foundation, or IB for short. The organization develops curricula, also called IB, for students around the world. The foundation was started in Switzerland back in 1968.
They were created as a reaction to the world wars 50 years ago. Essentially, a group of international educators, including those from America, came together to say education is more than just about academic achievement.
To design an education program that promoted more than just test results, the founders looked to the progressive learning philosophies of the time. So instead of teaching rote memorization, they pushed analytical thinking. The first students to use IB often came from elite international families. But 50 years later, IB can be found in both public and private schools around the world. More than 1,800 in the US alone, educating students from different socioeconomic backgrounds. It consists of curricula for students 3 through 19. There are elementary, middle, and high school specific programs, as well as ones related to careers, all aiming to foster independent, curious
We want to create children who are able to think critically, solve problems, able to write, to explain, to be focused on what they're doing, and to own the learning.
The curricula includes standard subjects like English, science, and math, but students also take design classes to develop their ability to create products. In middle school, subjects are combined to study how concepts overlap.
You're beginning to move towards a model culture.
IB approaches learning from a worldwide perspective, teaching students not just about local issues, but global ones as well. Studying a foreign language is required. The goal of it all is an interdisciplinary approach to the complex world the students will enter.
We try to understand what is the psychology, what is the brain functioning of the child at that point, how do you take chances, how do you fail, the ability of the child even at that level, at the primary level, to be able to speak and to defend their thinking.
But with a set framework of elements for students to learn, some educators are concerned too much control rests with an international organization and not enough at the local school level. Siva Kumari rejects that assessment.
It's a misnomer that we're sitting somewhere in some ivory tower and controlling the world. We have no such interest here. The reason I think it works is we don't mandate exactly what happens in the local school.
Please remember that you can always practice on another piece of paper.
Kathleen Busoni is an art teacher who coordinates the IB program at a public high school in New York City. She says that one thing that attracted the school to IB is its progressive philosophy, less instruction from a teacher and more active student participation in class.
And that sounds so cliche, right? In education today, we all say like student-centered is best. But for me, as a teacher, that was where I realized that's where the magic happens. That's where the students grow and learn the most, is if you help and encourage them and coach them rather than tell them and demand from them.
At Brooklyn Latin, all 11th and 12th grade students use what's called the IB Diploma Program. It's a choice that a school might make instead of, say, offering advanced placement courses. The curriculum has 6 subjects, including art and science. And in order to receive an IB diploma, students must pass IB's own exams. But it goes further, requiring both community service and a 4,000-word independent research paper.
The IB is not about one singular exam. So for one course, a student might do a group project or do an oral commentary, but then they might also do an extended writing, and then they might sit down in May and take a timed exam. But each course has at least 3 different assessments that combine together to give them a score. That is so unique and important because our students are not all perfect at taking multiple choice exams. This gives them the ability to show their excellence in several different ways.
But for all the benefits that Busoni sees in IB, she's also concerned about the program's cost. And she's not alone. Educators around the world have called the program expensive. To cover operational costs, the foundation charges fees for its various programs and services. Busoni estimates Brooklyn Latin pays about $1,000 for exams and fees for each 12th grader.
The IB does amazing things, but it costs a lot to help to manage that program. And as a public school, that's a lot of money when we have 189 seniors this past year.
But IB representatives say it's worth it. And Siva Kumari stresses that the programs produce students ready for higher education. 78% of IB diploma students go on to college right after graduation.
The successful IB student is one in whatever field they've chosen, that they're able to be the person that colleagues consider this is a mindful person who asks the right questions, who is able to drive consensus, who's able to provide the long view on things, and be the wise person in the room.
So thank you for watching that with me. Hold on. It's just a little bit. Okay. So we are honored to have been featured as the IB school for the PBS NewsHour piece that was run nationally on September 29th of this year, and we are delighted by that. And also happy with the way that certain things were not necessarily grazed over, and that we understand that IB has its pluses and its minuses. What I'd like to do now is to go into the IB program here at Brooklyn Latin so that you as families can understand what the experience is that your child will be having and what you can expect over the course of the next however many years left you have, 3.5 years, half a year, what you can expect from Brooklyn Latin. I'm going to invite folks to, I'm going to turn the lights, I'm going to invite folks to come on in. Please make sure that you have this lovely handout. It's 2 pages. It gives you a bunch of information about the IB program. We'll pass those around. Additionally, I understand the time constraints, and so I do have to leave by 7, but what I'm also going to do is I'm going to pass out these index cards, and if you have a question, please write them down. If we have a moment at the end, I will do Q&A with you. If we don't have a moment at the end, we're actually going to ask for you to pass those forward, and I will see about trying to answer those in the coming days. Might be after break, I'm not gonna lie. But I will try and help answer those questions for you, okay? So I'm gonna take a moment and pass those around. Diana, can I ask you to turn on the lights for us? Again, if you do not have a handout, oops, wrong way, go up. There we go. Oh, no, example, come on the top. Okay.
Everybody with the handout? Wrong one. Everybody got one?
Great. Okay. So, and I'm okay if you guys need to move around too. I've taught high school for many years, so I'm used to that. So going back to the survey that we did of our alumni back in 2016, again, I think it's really powerful to hear from others about their experience here at Brooklyn Latin. And so some things that really stood out from us with the group of students, the alumni who were able to respond, is that 85% of them recorded that they earned a 3.0 or higher in their college experience. Also, 74% were planning to attend graduate school, or they were currently in graduate school at that point. And 85% felt very much prepared for college academically. We gave them a Likert scale, so they were able to choose, like, I felt not at all prepared for college, I felt a little bit prepared for college, etc. So they actually 85% were on the extreme extent of feeling very much prepared academically. So when we think about our children going through the IB program, in the same way that you made a decision as to what high school your child was going to go to, you thought about the benefits to your child. And so putting myself in your shoes, now granted I will be very honest, I have 2 small children, but they are not of high school age yet. That's also why I have to run out, because they're 4 and 1. So I think about the impact on the child, right? So if we think about it, so we really value that we are developing individuals that are well-rounded, hardworking, and scholars, right? So it's that whole package. And the IB puts equal emphasis on the development of character as well as the academic growth of an individual. So it's really a holistic picture. The practical benefits, I mean, let's get down to it. The IB certificates and the diploma eligibility is indicated on college applications when your children are sending their college applications off into potential colleges and universities. It's indicated on there. They can see it on their transcript, what courses they are enrolled in, and then actually even on the Common App, there's a button that says, is this student going for the diploma? Yes, no, etc. So colleges and universities can see that. Also in the letter of recommendation from the counselors, it's a really great opportunity for them to talk about how the students are doing in the IB program, and I'll get to that in just another moment. Possible opportunities to earn college credit or skip over intro courses. So just like an AP program where everybody thinks, okay, if my child takes AP, he or she can go off to college and earn college credit. The universities and colleges treat IB exams and AP exams almost the same, in that it's not like they come in and say, I have 2 college credits, here I am. It's instead the college or university that says, what score did you get on this exam? And then depending upon that score, they will say, okay, that means that you can either have transfer credits, or you can jump over introductory courses. For many of our students, they see that as an opportunity to enter college as a first semester sophomore or a second semester freshman. Another strange thing that I've heard from a lot of our alumni is that sometimes those credits they're great, but they didn't help towards their major necessarily. But when I think about this, it actually gives them a one-up on the entering freshmen in many universities because they get to register for classes with a higher grade level. You see what I'm saying? So like, I remember freshman year in college, I had to sit 8 a.m. 4 days a week for a French class because I wanted the 3 p.m. I couldn't get it because my registration time was much later. So I always got the last straw. Also for housing lotteries, many times our students can actually be in the higher housing lottery because of their incoming credits. Something that like we forget to think about. But as families also, if you can quicken the pace through college, maybe that's a financial benefit to you too, okay? So those are the practical benefits of this. But what does it look like in Brooklyn Latin? So here at Brooklyn Latin, it's a rigorous and well-rounded program of courses. So all of our discipuli, all of our students take English, history, bio, math, and Latin. Those are the 5 of the 6 required for the IB Diploma, and 5 of our 6 academic courses that students can take. Our 6th comes from a choice of electives, and we have choices of Spanish, Ancient Greek, Chemistry, Physics, Visual Arts, Theater Arts, and World Religions. So our students have the ability to pick their elective. All of these courses, however, are 2-year courses here at Brooklyn Latin School. So that's the academic side of it. On the other side of it, where really the well-roundedness also comes in, are from these other things that the IB calls their core components. The first one is theory of knowledge, and it's an interdisciplinary course here at Brooklyn Latin. Our students meet every other day with their TOK teacher, and this is a moment where students can, in a really secure academic environment, begin to question why they know what they know, why beliefs are something that surround us, and why also news or information might be fake or secure. Okay, so this really gives us an opportunity to delve really into why we know, and that course is amazing in that when the alumni come back, when they're in it, they're going, oh, TOK, right? Every other day, I gotta do homework for this, I'm gonna have a seminar and this, But then they come back as an alumni and they say, that is what made the difference for me in college, because I was able to enter into college really having an understanding of the information that was being presented to me and having that ability to have those conversations and question things. The other is curricular engagement in what we call an acronym of CAS, which is Creativity, Activity, and Service. And for us here at Brooklyn Latin, that really means just outside of the school day, what sort of enrichment programs are you doing? Are you involved in clubs? Are you in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts? Are you participating with your religious organization at home? And it's really asking them not to just check off hours of, yes, I did community hours, I did 3 hours this week, I'll do 4 hours next week. No, it's more about how is this participation making you a better person? How are you growing and developing in it? And so many of our disciplines, many of our students achieve this through our after-school clubs. But it is absolutely possible for our students to achieve that through organizations in their own community at home, as well as doing things on their own. So students can decide that they want to be healthier and go jogging once a week and set a plan for themselves and make that their goal, and they're not coming to school and joining the cross-country club, but rather they're doing it on their own time in their own community and finding fulfillment that way. The last thing we have down here is the extended essay, or what we call the EE. The EE is a research project that begins in about January of their junior year, in which students can actually delve deep into a subject area that they're curious about. And for success, we suggest that that question or that topic come from a curiosity that you've developed in one of your academic courses. So if you're in world religions and you're really interested in one aspect of Judaism and you really want to delve further into that, you can. We encourage students not to choose a topic that is not offered here at Brooklyn Latin. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that you are being paired up with an adult in the building that can act as your coach and your guide, really helping with that research process and being a thought partner in that. If you choose to do psychology, we cannot necessarily guarantee that there's somebody here for you to successfully guide you through that topic. But history, absolutely, we have a fantastic history department. Health, yeah, we have our PE department who can help you through that. So that decision-making process is there, and so we encourage students to really go for something that they are really interested in, that can help them motivate them through their research, which takes almost a year to process. And then the culmination is a 4,000-word paper. Your children, if they choose to do the extended essay, can go to college knowing that they have written a 10 to 15-page research paper. That's tremendous. And what I say is sometimes it's possible for the counselors to actually remark on the research that students are doing in their extended essay in the letters of recommendation. That really is tremendous. Oh yeah. Here at Brooklyn Latin, we say that we have an IB for all policy or philosophy. And so what is that? So students are enrolled in all IB courses during their junior and senior year. We went over those academics. And we expect them to complete their assessment portfolios and earn IB certificates for their IB subjects and TOK. They are courses that they're already enrolled in. The assessment components are being done in class and as part of that curriculum. So it's a given that if you're enrolled in that class that you are doing what is necessary to complete those assessments. We encourage and support students to seek the IB Diploma. But the IB Diploma is a serious commitment that requires a substantial time commitment out of school for the HL coursework, as well as the extended essay and CAS. If you'll notice, I said that TOK is built into the course day, but extended essay and CAS are things that students do outside of the school day. They might meet with a teacher for guidance, but they're doing all of that work on their own. Students should make their best decision about pursuing the diploma for themselves in consultation with their families. If you take a look on the list that I gave to you, on the second page front, there's a timeline for IB at TBLS. And in the sophomore year, you will see that there are several different things that we've tried to develop to help families make the right decision for you as to what's the right courses that you should be taking. What elective do you want to do? Is the IB Diploma right for you? And so you'll see that we've built in time to talk about this in advisories. We've built in family nights for orientation, so it's very similar to this, getting a lot of information about the IB. We built in panel sessions in which students can actually hear from older kids who are going through this and get real feedback on it, okay? You should be aware that students are officially registered in November of their class 1 year. So I like to say the IB doesn't know you exist until you're a senior, because that's when we actually start to register you for your exams. Okay. How to earn a certificate. Okay. So certificates are earned for each IB subject, course, and TOK. And in order to earn a certificate, you must complete a portfolio of 3 to 5 assessments per course throughout the class 2 and class 1 year. When I was speaking in the video about this and saying that someone might do an extended writing in class over the course of several days or several weeks. Somebody might sit down and have a one-to-one oral commentary where they're talking about a text. They might do a group presentation. They might develop a portfolio. That's determined by the subject area itself and the assessment. And so in order to earn a certificate, you must do those different things. And that you must not have academic misconduct on those portfolio assessments. So no cheating, right? Citing properly, right? So those different things. Certificates can also be earned for EE as well as CAS, and you must meet the minimum requirements for those. Those are clearly outlined for students when we roll those out, and we give students different checkpoints to meet them. We call them lapis, which lapis actually means milestone in Latin, because we want our students to meet their milestones. So we'll do check-ins with them. So for example, as seniors, as of November 15th, we're expected to do a certain number of CAS reflections to meet that milestone. And our juniors were expected to do one CAS reflection to meet their milestone in November. So we pace these out in the hopes that it's helpful for our students to be successful. Certificates allow you to earn college credit or skip over introductory courses as per college and university policy. That's kind of what we were talking about before. It's really important to know that each college and university sets their own policy. So something that we learned is about a year and a half ago, the CUNY system said a memorandum that stated that if a student earned the IB diploma, which is a certain threshold of points in total, we'll get to that in another minute, that they would earn 30 transfer credits going into college. So that's the CUNY system, right? Now the CUNY system also said in this memorandum that it was up to each individual college to set their stipulations upon that. But so many of our students went to the CUNY system and they were able to enter with 30 transfer credits. Whoa. Every time I'm like, oh my goodness, right? I get the chills because it's just like, oh, it's tremendous, right? Because we constantly are saying, you're doing college level work. We know it's hard. We know it's rigorous. We know it. But then when they get to go off to college and come back and say, I'm a sophomore, right? Or I get it now, right? They don't get it while they're in here. But then you're sitting here and you're going, well, what if my child doesn't get the diploma? Or what if my child is not eligible for the diploma? And we're going to get to the diploma in a second. CUNY says for HL courses, if you earn a 5 or higher, so out of 7, that you get, I think it's 3 college credits transferred. So you can still get college credit, again, depending upon each university and college. I'm going to give you a resource where you can actually see exactly what universities deal with the IB exam scores. I'll show that to you. That's going to be like one of my last slides. Okay, so how to earn the diploma. Those are certificates. So everybody earns certificates, right? Because everybody's in IB courses. Everybody's earning certificates. So the max number of certificates that you can earn are 6 academic certificates, and then you can earn certificates for TOK, CAS, and EE. That's amazing, right? And so for the diploma, to earn the diploma, students must earn certificates in your 6 subject areas. And the way that they break it down here is of those 6, 3 must be higher level and 3 must be standard level. The difference between higher level classes and standard level classes is the amount of work that a student must produce and the quality of the work, right? So in some courses, we actually separate them and we say, you're going to be in Bio SL. Okay, starting in your junior year, you're only with Bio SL. That's the only class you're in, right, for Bio. And then the HL kids are in a different class because they just have different pacing, right? They go faster or slower, okay? There are other classes where we say, you know what? You don't need to make this decision until you go through the class for a year. So my visual arts class, I have a visual arts class, about 30 kids sitting in the class. I don't know who's going to choose SL or HL. It's a foundations class, so it's on the same pace. But at the end of this year, they get to make a decision. Are you going HL or are you going SL? And so I'm going to have them different, and then we're going to separate them according to SL. You're going to do a certain number of works of art. HL, you're going to do another certain amount of works of art. You're going to do more, and you're going to be expected to do it at a higher quality. Okay, so that's how those differentiate. So in order to earn the diploma, the IB says you must have 3 HL and 3 SL. Okay, that's going back to the holistic development of an individual. No, we don't want you to take 6 HL classes. My goodness, I'd be afraid, right? So the IB is saying like, yeah, you should do some things hard and you should do some things at a different level, like make it a little bit easier, make it more holistic. You must also earn certificates in TOK, extended essay, and creativity, action, and service, so the CAS. In order to earn the diploma, you must earn 24 total points across the IB program components. Now, math, right? 6 academic courses. You take an exam, which is actually an assessment portfolio. You get a score from 1 to 7, right? So potentially 6 courses out of 7, right? What's the total number of points a student can earn out of courses? 6 times 7? 42. Okay. But that's the maximum number of courses you can get from just the academics. But here, the IB says, we don't expect you to get 42 points. Nah. To get the diploma, 24. So what's the average course across 6 courses? 4. So weirdly enough, some people like to say the passing rate for IB exams is 4. But the IB doesn't say that. They don't say you have to pass every exam. What they say is holistically, you gotta get 24 points. So what I like to say to the kids is, you could get a 3 on an exam, but counteract that with a 5 on another exam. You could get a 2 on an exam, and you can get a 6 on another exam. You could get a 1, which is kind of hard to do. I'll be very honest. Like, come in, sit down, answer the question. Okay, how did you not answer anything in the entire exam, right? That's like a 1. The IB does say certain things like, if you earn a 1, no, you're not eligible for the diploma. Those specific stipulations are on the second page of the packet I gave you. So if you want to on your own time, you can go through those and see exactly, boop, 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 I need to do these different things. But the majority of this is 24 total points, and you can earn a diploma. Now here's another weird thing. These, well, not CAS, but TOK and extended essay, they award bonus points for how you do on those. So for TOK and extended essay, it's graded on an A through E. So A, B, C, D, E. E is like the equivalent of an F, right? So if you get an A on the extended essay and you get an A on theory of knowledge, you get 3 extra points. What? Okay, now granted, I'm gonna say it's kind of like, that's kind of hard. It's like, okay, you're gonna get an A on this and an A on that, like, and you're also gonna apply for college, and you're also gonna be like staying afloat in high school and all this, and like, yeah, that's kind of hard. We have had students who've done that, but like the potential of 3 bonus points. But if you look at the matrix, that's that sort of like, it's like a old school times table that's on that second page, right? So you're gonna actually see, okay, if my student were to get a B on the TOK assessment and a B on the extended essay, then how many bonus points? 2. Okay? And so you can earn extra bonus points and still earn that 24 points. Okay? That's like kind of awesome. Right? We have absolutely had some kids who've gotten a 23 on their academics and then earned that like 1 extra point and gotten the diploma. It's great. Okay. I know, we're running out of time and kind of want to make it home before my kids go to bed. Okay. Slides. Okay, so reasons for not earning a certificate. So you're sitting here like, wow, these certificates, they're awesome, they're great. Why do kids not get them, right? And here's the reality of it. So students will be ineligible to earn a certificate if they have academic misconduct on a portfolio assessment. So again, that's going back to the, okay, are you plagiarizing? Are you copying off of somebody else in your class? Are you not citing properly, right? And the idea is that hopefully through the way that we do the assessments, there's like checkpoints, right? So the teacher's constantly saying, you gotta fix your citations. You really have to fix your citations. I'm giving you one last chance, you have to fix your citations, right? And so we're trying to do that to kind of like help you through the process, right? But then we're dealing with teenagers every day, right? They're teenagers, they have pressures, and they make choices in life. Right? I'm sorry to the teenagers who are in the room and just thinking about something. Oh, right? Okay. So they make choices. And sometimes they're not the greatest choices. And sometimes they're choices that we don't want. And so sometimes they become ineligible for the certificate. Okay? Failure to submit a portfolio assessment, same sort of thing. The deadline is here. You need to turn it in. It's the hard deadline. You gotta hand it in. You gotta hand it in. You're gonna hand it in. You're gonna hand it. She didn't hand it in. Like, okay. The last thing is not sitting for both years of the second year course. So what that means is if a student has been repeating a course or is not in the final year of course. So sometimes we have kids, truthfully, who don't make it to IB year 2 of Latin for various reasons, okay? So if you're not in that senior year of a course, you can't get the certificate for it. You're not going to sit for that exam. Okay, but any students who are not eligible for a certificate in one area can still earn them in others. So if you're not eligible for Latin, or maybe you did something in biology that made you ineligible for a certificate there, you can still get certificates in all the other areas. That's absolutely fine. And you can still go off to college and say, haha, here are my scores, right? So that's important for you to know as well, okay? But it is important for us to know that IB diploma eligibility is contingent on earning all the IB certificates. It didn't work. Oh. Okay, I've got 2 more slides, okay? All right, so the first is how to learn more, right? So this is a short 40-minute kind of like I'm up in the front of the room trying to tell you these different things, right? These things are in the handout that I gave you also. It's in the how to learn more. It's just not as pretty. Okay. So the official IB website is ibo.org. That's the IB organization.org. And you can go there and you can see what kind of information they have. They've got crazy things if you really delve in deep. They've got like statistics on how the different countries do versus each other in the exams. It's sort of like a rabbit hole, right? But something that I mentioned to you before is that you can actually find IB policies by universities. And what this is that, it's hard to see, my apologies back there, but at the top of the IBO website, there are these different tabs, and one is called University Admission. Click on that, and then you're gonna navigate to the section that's Recognition of IB Programs. This link here is called the University Policy Index. When you click on that, it downloads an Excel spreadsheet to your computer. It has over 1,900 colleges, and then gives you exactly what their policy is. So I was looking at it earlier, and I was like, oh, wow. Well, Skidmore, right, says HL courses with a 5 or higher, right? Harvard says something different, right? So you can go on there and you can actually see. I also have students who are really interested in international schools. So I had a student being like, all right, so I know this might sound weird, but I'm thinking about going to school in China. I'm like, totally fine, good. And he's like, but I don't know how they look at IB scores. Actually, I had another girl today saying, I want to go back to the Czech Republic for college. Do they know what the IB is? And I'm like, well, let's look at this spreadsheet. Here we go. These are the universities that recognize and have their policy published by the IB as standard. That's not to say that this list is complete. This list is not. So my suggestion to all of our students is pick up the phone and call. You don't have to give your name, but if you pick up the phone and you call and you say, what is your policy on IB scores? The admissions office better be able to give you an answer. And I'll be very honest with you. 15 years ago, right, before Brooklyn Latin was established, if you picked up the phone and called a university, they might go, I what? IB who? Right? But now, that is not the case. That's not the case. It is a growing program here in the United States, and many colleges and universities actually have come back year after year and said the IB students can handle it. They can do it. And so they actually are saying, we want IB students. University of Rochester loves IB students so much that when Dr. Siva Kumari was here, we were talking about how much the University of Rochester goes out and tries to get IB students because they love them so much. They do so well. So there's actually a college fair that is offered. It's run by the Council of International Schools. However, it's open to any IB students in New York City at the UNIS School, the UN International School in Manhattan. It's offered every fall, usually right around the 20th of September. So if you were to go onto cois.org website, you can navigate to their events and their fairs. And they don't publish which colleges and universities are going to participate in this coming year. They don't even have their date yet for 2019, but you will be able to download this, and on the back, I didn't put it on here, but on the back lists all of the colleges and universities that were represented. So those are colleges and universities that are like, I want IB schools, IB students, and they go and get them. So I just thought that this was really helpful for families to be aware of. We don't run like what's it called, field trip to this, but we do promote it. We put it in the Friday Flash to you guys. We also put it in the morning announcements. Registration is needed for this fair because they have really high security at the UN school, obviously. And so you just have to register and bring ID. Parents can go too, okay? The last slide. Brooklyn, how are you helping my kids through this, right? What are you doing for us? Like, we've given you a lot of information. We've got a lot of generalized things, and you're going to hear about this. However, here are some key individuals, my name's up here too, that you can always reach out to, and I'm telling you right now, this is Wednesday before break, so we're kind of all like itching, just like everybody else. However, Mr. Malcolm Hill is the Assistant Headmaster of Teaching and Learning. His email address is mhill. My information is up here too. Then we have the college office, so we have the Director of College Office, Emily Falber, Rebecca Davidson, who's another college counselor, and then also I put here the counselors, the guidance counselors, because sometimes the decision-making process or navigating, school is one that you're looking for help with, and your children are looking for guidance. So I put this here too. So for the class of 2020 and 2022, it's Colleen Teslick, and for the class of 2019 and 2021, it's Kate McCaw. A lot of information. We're not going to have time to get through everyone's questions. I think I can probably take 3. But if I was not able to answer questions now, please use the index cards to write down your questions and write your email address, and I will try and respond to you in a timely manner when we come back. You can also feel free to email me. That's fine too. Questions? Yeah.
Can you tell us about the breakdown between the students who get the certificate and who get the diploma?
Sure. So typically 2/3 of our senior class go for the diploma, right? And about half of them earn it. So last year we earned 81 diplomas. The number of certificates, however, last year it was 1,400 certificates that our school earned. This year for current senior class, it's over 1,100 that we are working towards. Yeah. It's a lot, I know. Other questions? Oh, I'll step out of the way. Did anybody see the PBS piece before tonight? Okay, some of you did, some of you did not. We are so honored to have been part of that, but the weird thing that happened was that they kept telling us, oh, it's gonna air, and then at the last minute, like taking it back for like breaking news. And so by the end, we were like, really, is it really gonna air tonight? And then we were like, it is airing tonight. We didn't get a chance to tell too many people. Hello, hi, welcome. Any other questions? Go.
I have a question about the CAS hours.
CAS.
So is that something we should, or CAS, it's not hours,
Yeah.
right? So I guess my daughter's a freshman, like she's already actually involved in community service anyway, but is this something, when do they really need to start being involved? And if it's not hours, how do you
track that? Absolutely. Okay. So, CAS, the old system that changed about 3 years ago it was a checklist of hours. You have to do 50 hours of creativity and 50 hours of service, and it was like how they measured it. And then they realized that kids were just checking off the boxes without having true like connection and meaningness. They weren't being meaningful. And so they changed it, and they said what they want to see is a commitment over the course of 18 months. Okay, and so for our discipuli, we love that they are engaged in after-school activities, and that's great practice for what they're going to be doing in their junior and senior year. So if someone is participating in the after-school studio art club, awesome. You're probably going to be really engaged in it, and even maybe an officer, somebody who's helping to run it by your junior and senior year, and you're used to it. It's like this great thing. But according to IB, you're not going to be logging those experiences until day 1 of your junior year. And then you're going to be doing it, finishing up. This year, our deadline is April 30th of the senior year. And the expectation is that students log reflections, and they're 100 to 200 words of reflections talking about your growth. How did I, by participating in After School Studio Art Club, how have I realized my areas of growth and my areas of strength? And how have I demonstrated commitment and worked collaboratively, right? Now those are all great words to use, but we actually want to have them write out. So in Studio Art Club today, I was working on this and I realized that my friend next to me didn't know how to use enter in blank, fill in the blank space, right? And so I helped her realize this and work towards that. And that's really where the meaning comes in. Your children will start hearing these acronyms and these words early on as well. So we've done activities in their advisory that helps them to think about their learning objectives, even though they can't use them yet, right? They can still work towards them. In their freshman and sophomore years, they do activities in advisory where they're starting to think about what they're engaged in after school, and if they are truly doing creativity, activity, and service, and where they can expand themselves and grow. We try and build up over the 4 years so that they hear these terms and that they're experiencing and thinking about them, so that the big, heavy task of doing an entire CAS portfolio during the junior and senior year is not one that is brand new to them. Same thing, with the extended essay, we're going to be talking with them about them. That's a little bit more happening in their junior year and going through their senior year. But CAS is something that we realized in the last few years that we were like, where's our support? We want to make sure that these students are having this. So that's where we looked at advisory as a perfect opportunity for us to have meaningful conversations as a group and with somebody who's supposed to be with them for 4 years, who watches them grow academically and socially, and really can encourage them with that. So we're always looking to grow, and that's something that we've definitely started to implement actually last year, and students have started to tell us that they're seeing it as a positive. Question, yeah.
I also am a parent of a freshman.
Yeah.
Is there someone, this is the first time that I come to the school, and I'm concerned for my daughter that she's not really feeling the enthusiasm of what I believe should be the IB education and everything that you're offering, everything you're speaking about. Is there someone, am I maybe misunderstanding that maybe there's so much focus on the last 2 years that they're a little bit lost?
I understand.
Especially in the first year and maybe in the second year.
Yeah, so
I'm just curious.
yeah, absolutely. So the language, right? IB and being a junior and senior and starting IB and starting CAS and doing all this seems like the wheels are really, really turning in the last 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. Especially at that same time, you're trying to do college applications and all these different things. So the seniors and the juniors are sort of running around here like in a tizzy, right? they're full of energy because they're trying to get everything done, trying to do everything. However, the underclassmen, we've built in the skill set and the content into their courses and into what they're doing, that it's almost like they might be oblivious to it. And so this might be something where we have to articulate more that they're actually getting the structure and getting the foundations in those years. And so we are building these things backwards and saying, okay, in history class, you're doing this type of inquiry into a text. What they don't realize is that inquiry, that specific process, is what the IB wants. So we're starting it in the freshman year, and we're practicing it in the sophomore year, and we're doing this, and we've built it in, but we don't explicitly say you're doing this for IB, right? Because in essence, we don't want to teach to an exam. We want to teach to a life skill that a student will be able to use in college and after. So it's very rare that you walk into a class and somebody says, you're doing this in order to get into college. And then you're doing this so that you can be successful in college. Because once they get to college, what are you going to say? You're doing this so that you can be an accountant, right? No, that just doesn't happen. So what we're trying to do is build that in. And so we do so much vertical alignment in our disciplines that the idea is that I get it. they don't know it's happening, but oh man, it's happening.
No, I agree. I'm not questioning the actual education, but
No, I know, it's
I'm
okay.
actually curious as to how to stimulate something in a child for them to understand that without thinking testing. I mean, testing has never been the priority or achieving, but actually learning.
Yeah.
Feeling that passion and that excitement of learning. And I know that she'll have it, but I'm not so interested when she's 20. I'm hoping that
Right
she'll,
now, yeah.
Even if it's a little bit, so that's something that I'm.
No, absolutely. Thank you. I will take that back and share it and see where there are areas that we can maybe integrate that in, because as I was saying, it might not be starting until like their sophomore year when they're starting to gear up for their decision-making process, where they get to actually talk and interact with the upperclassmen about their experience also, because that's also a great way for that to happen. But that is something that I will take back and see where we can grow with that. It is 7:04, and so if you have a question, I'm going to collect your index cards. If you don't have a question, that's okay. We'll save paper, or you can take it home and use it for your own purposes. I hope that you have found this useful. If it were in my class right now, I would ask them for gladiator style, thumbs up, this was useful, thumbs down, this was not useful, thumbs in the middle, I'm still processing, I have no idea what to do. May I ask you? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, awesome. Thank you. And so what I'm going to ask also is spread the word. Spread the word, because the PA is this amazing organization that gives us an opportunity for families to come and be together and hear each other as well. And even though I might not be coming back this year necessarily to have another presentation, I think that you guys can really work together and help each other as well. And again, we are all here to help you and your families navigate IB, to navigate TBLS, and try and enjoy it along the way. Okay. I've got index cards. If anybody else has it, please let me know. Thanks, guys. I'm just going to log myself out of this so that the teacher tomorrow.